Hello out there to everyone in the verse. Gabby here with my weekly show where I do my best to offer up advice and solutions to the many interpersonal problems that any one of us might face, whether that be tackling relationship difficulties or just being an ear for someone in need. Tonight we have a couple of interesting stories I want to share, and of course a Dear Gabby update as well. Remember that if you have your own difficulty you would like to share, please mail in your concern or you can post it in the comments below and I will give my very best advice to you if chosen. So be sure to let me know your troubles for your own chance at a problem-solving take from the galactically known Gabby. Good afternoon, Trumbull. I saw in the pre-show warm-up that a certain pirate has written in. I am looking forward to that update.
Yes, I thought you might be. That episode was the first one I ever worked on behind the scenes, while I was still being taught how things work around here by Tara. How is Tara, by the way?
Tara is doing great with her new show, Tara from Tara, and I just listened to her first episode last night, and I have to say she is killing it.
I haven't listened to it yet as I was doing some last-minute editing for this episode until late last night, but I am looking forward to it.
Oh, you definitely need to listen to it. Her insight and topics were very thought-provoking, and I look forward to hearing more. But we're here for a reason, and our listeners are super excited for us to get into our little show, so let's hear from our sponsors and then get to tonight's first writer. Now I know you listeners are ready for Gabby to get into some problem solving, but first I gotta mention my dinner last night at Whammer's. I was on my way to an important meeting when hunger struck like a lightning storm on Genesis 2. Lucky for me, there was a Whammer's close by, and with so many locations spread around Stanton, chances are there's one close to you. Now, Gabby is not a big eater, so the 2 veggie burger combo was a bit much. But don't worry, cause Whammer's has you covered with their a la carte style ordering as well. So be sure to cave in to your craving and drop on by Whammer's, where it's always a good time, and for convenience sake, you can order ahead with their MobiGlass app to save even more time. Here, Trumbull, try these squash sticks. They're a delight.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Our first writer tonight is having a moment of self-doubt, so let's see how we can help. And they write, Dear Gabby in Space, I feel like this is some sort of confessional. If that is how this show is meant to be, I'm not really sure. But I am away on a seasonal racing circuit and not near my normal supportive friends and just feeling down on myself. I have always had trouble with my dating relationships, and this last one has me really down in the dumps. I met this nice man who did not go much into his past, but our relationship was still new, so I figured there was time for that later, and I refused to subscribe into any interpretations one might make from a hidden past. The only thing about his past I asked was if he was married, and he assured me he was not. He seemed to like me for me and not for my profession, which, if I'm being honest, my racing has probably killed more relationships than my rivals have crashed in the third turn at Icebreaker, with most men just not mentally able to get over what I can do with a ship for whatever reason. This guy was different. In fact, he rarely came to my races, which I really kind of liked. Anyway, after only being together a month or so, I came back looking forward to a night out on the town in Area 18, but he never showed, and there I sat all alone. I went by his apartment, but no answer, and his neighbor said he had not seen him, and someone else had already occupied the flat. I've had relationships end suddenly, but that was just odd. No MobiGlass communique, no nothing. I'm assuming he might have gone back to the Ellis system where he told me he hailed from. I'd really like to know what happened with our relationship. The next time I am in the Ellis system for a race, I thought about checking up on him, not to fight with him, but just to know what happened, and if I did anything wrong. Does this seem normal to you, Gabby? Am I being silly wanting some closure, or should I just move on and forget it since it was only a month anyway? Signed, Race to Unhappiness. Dear Race to Unhappiness, I'm sorry your relationship seemed to be a sour note in your life. Many times with career successful people, they can find personal relationships hard and truly momentous in comparison to their triumphs. It's hard to say what this person was thinking. The fact that the relationship was so new and that it ended, especially in an abrupt manner, is nothing new to me in the show. It's easier to quit on something if the stakes do not feel real or that there is much invested in it. There are many of us who have had relationships end all of a sudden and we never get that closure and are left wondering. The one thing you cannot do is question your own abilities. I get that this person seemed to be a great fit, but perhaps they were also working through some of their own issues, and those issues were just too much to handle. Maybe you being a racer was something they told you did not bother them, but maybe it really did, and it finally just became too much. My point is that there are so many things we could go through that could have happened. You cannot sit around trying to posit what you could have done differently, and your energy would be better spent just moving on. Now, as far as checking up on him, that is entirely up to you, but I can tell you that you could either get what you want, or it could lead you down some other roads that you are not able to navigate as well as you do on the tracks you seem to dominate. I hope either way you're able to find some peace, and also that you find someone who appreciates you for who you are and not just what you do. Take care. So this next writer wanted to share some help they offered, and Gabby is all for that. They write, Dear Gabby in Space, I am a tour guide on New Babbage, and during one of my more recent tours, I helped a young woman who quickly flashed a sign saying she needed help. It caught my eye, and for a brief moment, I almost lost my place in my normally perfect scripted tone, but I quickly adjusted and kept the tour moving. But instead of taking my normal route, I instead toured us close to the security station at New Babbage Spaceport and was able to have the person holding the woman hostage held by New Babbage security until it could be sorted out. Turns out she was being held against her will and was from the men's system and had been kidnapped from one of the small human settlements there. It just made me think about all of those persons who are kidnapped that never receive help, and I just wanted to share this because it was extremely brave of this woman to get a message to me, and for anyone out there in a similar situation, I hope they hear this and make every effort to try and help themselves. Thank you for putting this story over the air, Gabby. Signed, Helpful Tour Guide. Dear Helpful Tour Guide, thank you for sharing this amazing story, and your message will be broadcast loud and clear. I also wanted to share a message for those who might be captured that if you're able to ever get near a mobiGlas, if you hold your palm over the face of the mobiGlas for 20 seconds, it will send off a low-band distress ping to nearby security, even if you are not within comms range. It will cache that distress signal until you are within reach of one and send out the alert then. Now, only a hacker or security member can clear the alert, and unless the person goes looking for it with a level 1 maintenance check on the mobiGlas itself, they won't even know it's broadcasting. This feature was implemented for just such events, or if you're ever held captive by pirates or injured in some way and not able to speak. It's sometimes a little known feature, but one that can save lives. Thank you, Helpful Tour Guide, and until human trafficking is no more, I hope we can all help somebody escape that fate. It is now time for a Dear Gabby update, and this week's update comes to us from Shantytown Kev, a pirate who wrote into us before looking for some advice on love because someone had stolen his heart. And he writes, Dear Gabby in Space, what a crazy past couple of weeks I have had. My head has been a swirling mixture of space grog mixed with doubt and uncertainty. I did as you suggested and came clean to the young lass who had caught my attention, and sure enough, my pirating ways is a turnoff for her. But she hinted that if I was not pirating that we could see about something. I don't know what something means. It was murky enough to cause my brain to be in a cloud, and me thoughts betrayed me at times, which is dangerous when you're trying to work, at least at my job. I hesitated during an excursion, and my captain ended up dead. Naturally, it fell to me to lead, and so here I am trying to decide if I keep going with our pirating ways, or do I make a change for this space station maiden. I feel lower than a space rat for being happy with the turn of events, and I feel like the stars are guiding me, which a few months ago I would have said was hogwash. Not sure how I will proceed, but I wanted to hear your thoughts, dear Gabby. Thank you for your time. Signed, Shantytown Kev. Dear Shantytown Kev, that is quite the turn of events. I do not envy you right now, and no, I cannot tell you how to proceed. I will say that you need to consider something very carefully. Love can feel like a madness or mental illness at times. The rush of hormones and sense of excitement will not always be there. When things subside, it's that part of your life that will be left with whatever you decide here. Also remember that there is no timeline unless you fear losing this person to another. But if your bond is as strong as you claim, a little time to make a more informed decision might keep you from making any rash decisions. I do not pretend to understand the repercussions of your decision, so those things you will need to weigh in to your decision and how it will affect everything from you and that person, but also the other people who rely or work with you now. Again, I do not envy this decision, and I hope you come up with something that works well for everyone. That is all for this week's show. Tune in next week, and until then, I hope you all stay safe out there in the verse, especially after this show. Me and Trumbull wish you all well. Thank you for watching. Say goodnight, Trumbull.
Good night, Trumbull.